Congressman Van Drew, member of the House Judiciary Committee, joins us now. Congressman, it's good to see you. I guess if the old adage is justice delayed is justice denied, the story of Gabe Briguglio, man, that takes that to an extreme. What do you hope?
Well, first of all, it does take it to an extreme. I want to thank you for the work that you've done on this. It really brought it to light again. This man has been a victim for half a century. He did nothing wrong. He wasn't even there in Michigan, which is where this all occurred when, Jimmy Hoffa was whisked away in an automobile by others and had nothing to do with it. And we know that. We know the individual, Ralph Picardo, whose testimony was used to actually create a witness out of Gabe, that Gabe was actually involved. Ralph wasn't telling the truth. He was a murderer. He was a liar. And the FBI, quite frankly, shouldn't have used his testimony so freely. But the FBI and the Attorney General and the Department of Justice can make this right. He needs a letter of clearance. This is a man who was 85 years old who has lived through this. And, there's one other thing I want to say. This reminds me in a very strange way, in a different way, of what went on with the Russian collusion. There was supposedly between President Trump and Russia and his administration and his campaign, some collusion that took place. They made something called a Steele dossier based upon it in the Attorney General's office and the Department of Justice and the FBI. It was all false. And we know now that an independent special counsel looked at it by the name of Durham and said none of it was true. Then they had to apologize. They need to apologize for this.
What's
the crime mistake, the crime of the FBI is not apologizing and clearing his name.
What's astounding about this, and let's show Picardo again. As you said, 32-year-old, he's a mob guy. He's in prison, in Trenton State Prison. A month after Hoffa disappeared, he says that a guy comes to him, one of his associates, and says that Tony Pro was involved. Tony Provenzano, New Jersey mobster, but also a powerful head of the local Teamsters. And he said, if that's the case, it figures the Briguglios were involved, Gabe and his brother Sal. Sal was considered in the Genovese crime family. Gabe Briguglio says he was not. He was a union local president. He was involved with Tony Pro in Teamster union business, he says. And so he gets subpoenaed to the grand jury, goes in the lineup, no one recognizes him, he goes home, and Congressman, for the next 50 years, it's like he's the killer of Jimmy Hoffa.
Exactly, and it's just so very wrong. We're supposed to have the rule of law. We know now, and we knew then, basically, he was home. He was in New Jersey. In fact, he got new siding put on his house, and he actually paid off. It was the siding had just been finished that day. There were receipts that showed he paid off the siding that was done in his house, went home, was greeted by his children. It's all there. So for God's sake, let's end this and let him clear his name as he's an older gentleman. He's 85 years old. Just to do what's right, he deserves this. And we're going to keep the pressure up on this. We're going to do everything we can.
Yeah, top officials, former FBI supervisory agents in charge of the Hoffa case, Justice Department officials have told me that he was not involved. The Hoffa family says the New Jersey stories about the Meadowlands and all the New Jersey stuff was not correct. Here is Gabe Briguglio on the impact of what this has done to him all these decades.
I don't know how much longer I have to live. I hope it's a long time, but for whatever time I have left, I want to get it off my head. I want to let it be known. For all the years that, that they had to go through it. Okay.
It's hard on you.
It does.
What's astounding, Congressman, is, they call you in a grand jury, you're all over the place, and no one comes to you and says anything. Ralph Picardo, 6 years later, guess who he testifies against? Ronald Reagan's nominee for Labor Secretary, Ray Donovan, falsely claims that he bribed Donovan. Leon Silverman, the special prosecutor of the FBI, says that Ralph Picardo lied all about Donovan. Ray Donovan gets appointed to the cabinet of the President of the United States, but no one says diddly about Gabe.
Justice for one should be justice for all. Ray Donovan was pardoned, and he should have been. That was totally false. It was totally a lie, but he was a big shot, let's face it. Gabe is not a member of Congress. He's not a cabinet level official. He's just an average guy from the state of New Jersey trying to live his life. And, you know, I could say this openly, and I challenge the Department of Justice to do the right thing, clear his name so he can go to sleep at night, and quite frankly, so that we can all go to sleep.
Yeah, in fact, Donovan was even in a separate trial was found not guilty, but he came down the steps of the courthouse saying, "Where do I get my reputation back?" So where does Gabe Briguglio go to get his reputation back? The family thanks you. They have a heartfelt gratitude to you. Here's a statement from Gabe Briguglio's daughter, Jonna, and from the family. She says, quote, "To me, it is courageous to stand up for someone's rights and for my father, who is now 85 years old. He is so grateful that someone is hearing his plea. All my life, my father has taught me to stand up not only for my rights, but for the rights of others. This has been the example he has set for me and my siblings, but my family has lived with this injustice for almost 50 years with no one fighting for us. I truly don't know if I can find the words to adequately express what this means. Congressman, why are you fighting for this?"
Because I believe in America, and I believe in the rule of law, and I believe in justice. And when it doesn't work right, which and we must fix it. These are just good, average, hard-working folks that deserve to be treated better. And as I said before, we're not going to go to sleep at night until this thing is right, and it needs to be right. I applaud you. I applaud Fox. I thank them for their patience, and they still love this country, and they still love the rule of law. But, man, we got to do better than this. So I hope the folks at the Justice Department are looking at my letter. I hope that they're watching this. And if they don't, we're going to keep going after them, because this is something that deserves to be rectified. It's so wrong. And you know what it is? More than anything, it is truly un-American.
Yeah, and with ironies, Mr. Briguglio served 2 years for a racketeering, but, you know, guess who the witness against them was? Ralph Picardo. So they used Ralph Picardo against Ray Donovan. They used Ralph Picardo against all these people, and they then admitted that he is a liar.
Well, you know, even in the other I brought out, again, very different what happened with the Steele dossier and Russian collusion and all that. But they used a man by the name of Igor Danchenko and paid him hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he now admits he totally lied. All of that was in the truth. So we have to be careful when we go after people. We have a responsibility. So you know what? These agencies have a responsibility to protect people. And it's shameful when we need protection from the agency itself.
Yeah, Picardo, I'll just add, was released from his murder sentence in prison in Trenton, put in the witness protection program, and basically got away with it all. Congressman Jeff Van Drew, thank you for your help. Thank you for your kind words about this effort. And we will continue reporting on this and reporting on what you can achieve. Thank you.
Thank you.
And of course, you can